Donald Trump starts his day complaining about the investigations coming his way, and he went to the National Prayer Breakfast and made a startling revelation to all of us. Here he is.
Since the founding of our nation, many of our greatest strides, from gaining our independence to abolition of civil rights.
The abolition of civil rights. That's very interesting. People of faith have led the abolition. So, well, you know, I suppose you could say it's kind of snarky. You know, obviously he misread his prompter. But there are larger fish to fry in the rants of Donald Trump this morning. He started out with a tweet. This is the guy who spends, you know, according to this recent leak, 60% of his time sitting in his bedroom in his pajamas, eating fast food and drinking Diet Coke and watching Fox News and tweeting. 60% of his time. That's your president. And the remaining 40% of his time is spent down in his office eating fast food, drinking Diet Coke, and talking to people who are on television on Fox News. But he started out today with this tweet that, oh, the Republicans never did this to Obama. It never happened before. He's talking about the investigations that were kicked off, really yesterday by Democrats in the House of Representatives. Actually, you know, those of us who were, paying attention remember quite well, for 3 years, year after year after year, the Republicans kept holding hearings in Washington, D.C. in the House of Representatives on, what was her name? Lois Lesser? In any case, there was this poor woman who worked at the IRS who they said, you're not letting conservative groups have their nonprofit status. That's because you hate conservative groups. Well, no, actually, they were holding up the applications of liberal groups too. If they looked like they weren't actually doing nonprofit stuff, but instead were doing political stuff, they were entitled to nonprofit status. And Lois Lerner, I think was her name, as I recall. But anyhow, he's like, they and literally for they destroyed her career and humiliated it was just 3 years of investigations into the IRS. Planned Parenthood, they had this faked video by a Republican operative, and they spent a year investigating Planned Parenthood. Didn't find anything at the IRS. Then they investigated the Planned Parenthood again in the following year. And then they investigated Benghazi. And then they investigated, a different committee investigated Benghazi. And then another committee investigated Benghazi. And then they got the definitive answer, so they investigated Benghazi 2 more times. Remember the congressman who said, we're going to win the election, the 2016 election, because of Benghazi? That's going to take down Hillary Clinton. And then, Michelle Bachmann going off on all these crazed right-wing conspiracy theories. And then, don't even get me started on the investigations into Hillary Clinton's emails. This is after George W. Bush lost 5 million emails. Karl Rove lost millions of emails. Dick Cheney had millions of emails vanish. But no, we got to find out what happened to Hillary's emails. And they actually found her emails, and they went through them all. There was no there there.